are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris, and we have we have guests with us today. We have Mike Seymour and Peter Stafford from Stepping Stone of San Diego, correct?
Correct, yes.
Great. Well, tell us, I'm not sure who to start with, but tell us a little bit about Stepping Stone. What do you do?
Stepping Stone is an organization that's been around for 38 years. It serves predominantly the LGBT community, but it focuses on those that have addictions to alcohol and drugs.
Okay. So, and you are located down in San Diego, correct?
We're in City Heights. In a 12-year-old facility.
Okay.
And it's absolutely lovely place for somebody that needs to, get away, and it's a 6-month program.
6-month program, and you're a local nonprofit here.
That is correct.
Okay, so this is not your normal rehabilitation facility. It's a nonprofit, so you rely on the general public for funding, correct?
General public and federal grants that are administered by the County of San Diego.
Great. So tell me what makes this different than, let's say, I'm assuming that not all rehabilitation facilities are nonprofits. There are some that are out there for profit, paid for by insurance and what have you.
You're correct. I had a very special story in how I actually came to know this organization. If you have a Cadillac insurance policy, or if you have a lot of cash in the bank, you can go anywhere you want to try to, come back to sobriety and regain control of your life. Stepping Stone is not for those type of people. Stepping Stone are for the people that have pretty much lost everything, or in most cases alienated from their family, and are pretty hopeless.
Do you see a lot of people that are homeless that come to you, or is that a whole different realm?
No, it's very accurate. That's actually how I came to know Stepping Stone. My son was addicted, sick, homeless, on the streets, and literally, a day away from an overdose when a friend took him to Stepping Stone, and that was in 2006. Okay, how's he doing today? He graduated from state. He works for the Justice Department. He has a great life and lives in D.C. And it was a complete and utter miracle. I call it Mark's miracle. Yeah.
That's great. That reminds me of what was his name from the Family Auto Service.
Yeah, I don't remember the gentleman's name who owns Family Auto, but we know from different organizations who've been on that so much of our homeless have addiction problems. They're not people that just, they've got some mental health issues as well as addiction problems. And I know every family I know has been touched somehow or another from one type of addiction or another, primarily drugs and alcohol. The old adage is they got to hit rock bottom.
That's correct.
But once they do, they got to find a place to get some help. And very few of us really have the means to just pick and choose where we want to go, right?
And that's so true. And Stepping Stone specializes in what is referred to as dual diagnosis, because many people who are suffering from addiction, the addiction is just one thing that's masking another problem. And it could be schizophrenia, it could be bipolar disorder, it could be PTSD. There are numerous reasons that people turn to medicate themselves to drugs.
Right.
And that's where we're very, very unique. And the one thing that we never ever lack at Stepping Stone is a waiting list. There are people that show up twice a week hoping that their name will be pulled because we're constantly full. And the challenge we have is getting the funding to support that.
And this is a 6-month inpatient treatment center.
That's correct. And then we have a graduation that we used to use the War Memorial Building in Balboa Park, but now we do it on site and have 2 graduations a year. And that is probably one of the most moving and rewarding evenings that any of us experience, and it makes the time that we spend as board members, for instance, it justifies that. because you leave with tears in your eyes.
No doubt. Now, 6 months program, I think of rehabilitation centers and people that I've known. A friend of mine lost his medical license. I mean, you don't have to be, young or, anyway, it crosses all socioeconomic lines, these diseases and addictions. But most rehab centers are 90 days. Tell me why 6 months and why that seems to be successful.
I'd like to address that, if you don't mind. I've spent a lot of time talking with Dr. John Milner, who's our resident medical advisor, psychiatrist. And Dr. Milner's description is that the body, whether it's from alcohol or drugs, is so badly damaged from long-term use by the time that they finally hit bottom that the body is just, no matter how physically strong or young you were, the body is now at this point a mess. And there's actual damage to the brain, especially if there's been heavy use of alcohol.
Absolutely.
And that detox, for instance, has to be governed by, with medical, with drugs that help you down gently. Otherwise, it's a horrible experience to go through. And then you really need 2 years, but that's why just 6 months helps the person be able to cope, and then they need to go into a safe environment, whether that be back to the house, but you need to then have family counseling so that the members of the household don't re-trigger all the reasons why they went into drugs or alcohol in the first place.
How do you deal with you said there's really a 2-year recovery program, yet there's 6 months of inpatient. How do you deal with the other year and a half plus?
We refer to that as our continuum of care, and I think Dr. Milner's dream is that our organization will be able to perpetuate that for a long time. So, as Pete said, we need to bring them in, clean them up, literally, in most cases, 10-day detox. Then we actually have to get them physically healthy, and again, we provide a really great diet for them, of just real good, healthy food. Then we have to get them emotionally healthy, and the continuum of care is that they once they leave our 6-month program, we have 2 sober living houses where they're held accountable, they're still drug tested, and at that point they seek work out in the community. Now, my company employs a lot of the people that leave our program because it's not just a matter of getting them off drugs, it's getting them back into life. And when you work, you feel value.
Right.
And so that's the rest of the program, is sober living, jobs, and then moving back into their regular
And
life.
we're also a 12-step program, so a lot of people we have 12-step programs on site, and then they go into other programs, and then ongoing counseling that they receive, one-on-one counseling through their time with us and then afterwards.
Yeah, because you mentioned that one of the things that makes you unique is that it's I don't know if you use the word cluster, but there's typically the addiction is masking some other deeper issue. How do you figure out what that is? Because when they come to you, they're broken. How do it's got to look like they got 20 different issues going on.
That's not our job. Peter and I are board members, and we leave that to the professionals that work for us, and we have a spectacular team. These people are trained counselors, psychologists. Connie, our director, is Dr. Connie, but these people are trained, and many of them actually came from a family or an environment of addiction and have dedicated their entire lives. I mean, they're the professionals, and they can spot.
So they're able to determine, and diagnose, and that also is one reason why 6 months has to help increase the success rate, because you've got the time to get into those deeper issues.
Yeah.
Correct?
Do you get into any vocational training or job placement, or you work with others in that?
No. What we do is, and that's actually the gap that we're filling right now, and my company is the first part of that, is I've got 3 people out of the program that are working for us, and then we're looking to create a vocational program, and another one of our board members, Linda Woods, is working on that right now, because that is a very important part of it. Correct. To get them back working.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD or email me at Barry@CloseUpSanDiego.com. Or you can find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay, Urban Miaris, and we have Mike Seymour and Peter Stafford from Stepping Stone of San Diego. I'm looking at one thing that I want to bring out, which I think is just absolutely tremendous. Okay, over the last 2 years, I'm gonna use a different phrase for this. You've saved over 500 lives. Is that correct?
Wow.
That's absolutely correct.
That's a lot. And this is
a small town in some of the Midwest. I mean, really, think about it.
So well, I think the most wonderful part about that is one of those 500 lives could have been one of your listeners' children. I've had, both Pete and I have had the call in the middle of the night saying, hey, we need help, and they're ready to go. And there's no question. We just take them. And then, of course, we document all the people that have gone through the program, and between our detox and our treatment program, it's actually over 500.
Wow.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous.
Now, no program is 100% successful. People do relapse. How do you guys handle that? What program do you have to pick people back up and help them back up?
A number of people go through the program and fail, and then they come back several times before it's successful. And we just brought on a young man who's now on the board because he has resurrected his life, and he chose a role model in Wayne Back, who's he's the oldest or the longest tenured board member we have at Stepping Stone and at Pomaro. And Wayne's very successful in the community, but his life 20 years ago was not a successful life. And today he is, and he's a role model within the LGBT community and within the business community in general. And this young man looked at him and said, this is a guy I'd like to be. He failed 3 times before it finally took, and now he's working for one of the major banks here in San Diego, and we just put him on the board.
Oh, wow, I love that.
You know what I'd like to do at one point?
What's that?
At some point?
Yeah.
At some point, I'd like to come back to these guys and have them bring in one of their success stories to tell it on air.
Would they be willing to do that?
They would.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we were just actually on TV yesterday with one of the local channels, and Vanessa, one of our grads, as we call it, who's just an amazing young woman, completely turned her life around. And we're very proud of it. And you're right, we do have some failures, but usually it's because the person wasn't ready. But when they are ready, they can always come back, and we'll help them again. And that's the challenge. That's the reason that we really wanted to come and talk to you. Wanted to talk to you about what Peter and I are doing to try to raise funds for the organization,
that was my next point.
Okay.
Tell me, other than getting government grants and any way that normally comes, what do you do outside the box to raise money for your charity?
Well, thank you for asking that. I'm the treasurer of the organization, so I know where we stand financially. And prior to this recession in 2008, we had a pretty good donor base, and that really was decimated. I mean, people just didn't have the disposable income. And we've done small fundraisers, and our alumni have done some small fundraisers, and that certainly has helped. But Peter and I decided that we were going to get real crazy and get outside the box, and we've committed to and have been training to do a 540-mile bicycle ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles, leaving the 31st of May. And we're hoping that people will support that ride and donate funds to Stepping Stone, because we'd like to raise $100,000, which really is about our deficit every 6 months, because the government funding only provides about 75% of our
What does it cost to put somebody through your program?
It's about $4,000 a month.
$4,000 a month. So we want to help I don't want to say help our homeless, help our the afflicted, people that have those problems. $4,000 a month, that takes an awful lot of work and raising money and what have you. There's a lot that goes into that. So I want to sit down with you guys and see what can we do that you're not doing now to help you raise money.
We would be thrilled. Now, the one thing we had done is when we came on board, when I came on board as treasurer, is we really did go through all of our expenses, and we took from a $25,000 deficit and got it down to about a $13,000 a month deficit. But I'm sure you could help us fine tune that even more. We'd appreciate it.
Getting all that down is one thing. What I want to do, there's only two ways to fix a business. Okay, you can cut expenses or you can increase revenues. Okay, I can help you with whatever you need from a cut expenses standpoint. Probably might be better somebody better than I, but I want to help you raise money for it. So
we would appreciate that so much.
Yep.
And for the listeners who want to contribute, what's the best way for them to go about it?
Well, they can go to our website, which is steppingsstonesd for San Diego.org, and go to
the events section.
The events section, and then there's also another way, for our bike ride, which is what the
PeteandMikeRide.com.
That's it, PeteandMikeRide.com. They can go there, and there's a donation page right there.
Now, is it like per mile, kind of like people used to do the walk? Do it either way? Fun. Well, I'm all about donating instead of riding a bike for 500 miles.
No, the bike riding is really great.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'd rather donate than ride, but I felt it was really necessary to get outside my comfort zone. I started riding again 7 months ago. Pete's been riding all his life, so I've been looking at the backside of him for a long time.
Oh, dear.
In training. Yeah.
This is a rated G program, fellas.
That's right. Let's keep it that way.
Absolutely.
Great. Hey, well, guys, I appreciate you being with us. I'm definitely going to do some follow-up. Let's see what we can do to help you out, because you're helping us out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD, or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.